Okay, so what do we have today? Today we have crappy lighting because it's already 5 p.m. and there's no light outside and it's also raining and very, very dark. We have crappy eyes because I'm tired. We have crappy face overall. And we have a very, very tired person that is just going to try to tell you what books she got for Christmas because it's a new year. Welcome to 2021. If this goes as predicted, this is going to be the first video that you're going to watch on this channel for 2021. So happy new year to all of you guys, and I hope you're doing okay. Let us pray that this year is better than 2020, and without further ado, let's get into the books that I got. So this is just a way of me being a little bit inspirational, just to, well, I got these books, they are pretty, and let's start the year with pretty stuff. They were also all gifts, which I am very, very thankful that I have people that actually want to gift me books and actually want to share them with me and know that I am happy reading books, and so they give them to me. But that said, if you are against big book hauls, this is going to be one. So for that, to get out of the way, consumerism, we know what's going on, but I do appreciate every single one of these, and they are continuations of series that I'm doing, and they are also very special editions that I'm going to treasure. So yeah, I think I don't need to disclaim this because every single one of you guys that follow me is just so amazing. You leave all the best comments. You are just so cool with me that I don't think that I need to disclaim this, but just wanted you to know. So now we're getting into it. So for this particular Christmas, I basically got everything illustrated. And I say everything illustrated because most of it is manga, but there's 1/2 that, well, 1/2/3 that are really not, but most of them have illustration as well, except from one. So I'm just going to show that one first. So I got a book from a Portuguese author. This is actually signed, and it is by Valteiro Romães. He is a Portuguese author, as I said, and this book can be called Against Me in translation. This is supposed to be a very intimate book where he talks about how books influenced his childhood and how since the beginning he kind of knew that he wanted to be a writer and what influenced him to be a writer and how that went, and just the progression of writing. And because I myself really wish I could be a writer, I think this is going to be intriguing. This also has the author's signature, and it's for me because it says to Catarina Bookworm, which if you're on this channel, you know that is me indeed. So yay. Then I just wanted to show that I was gifted the Mina Lima edition of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which I am not going to show for a long time because we all know what happened last year with the author of this book, and I don't really want to get into that again. But the person that gifted this to me knows that despite everything, this is one of my favorite series and it's very important to me as a growing up sort of thing, and as a series that quite literally might have saved my mental health a lot. So this for me is a gift, and I am very excited to run through it, but I am not going to show more of it. It is a beautiful edition. For those of you that got it, you know it. If you haven't got it, you know it as well, but I just wanted to mention it. Then, getting into the manga, we have The Ancient Magus Bride Volume 13. So this is by Kore Yamasaki, and this is the 13th volume of The Ancient Magus Bride, but also the fourth? Damn, I'm not sure, but whatever. It's the next installment of the second arc of The Ancient Magus Bride. I have to reread this series because I really want to watch the animated version, and I really want to actually do an in-depth video about this because this is a series that touches on topics like Celtic culture, but very much so into mental health, and I think it would be important to explore it. So I am very excited to pick all of the series up again. I still remember a lot of things, but because these come out very slowly, there are things that are eclipsing my mind, and so I really want to continue reading this. I love the main characters, I love all of the plots, I love the magic behind it, and I think it's a really enjoyable series. Then I got a manga that actually was supposed to be given to me in November, but it failed the situation, and that is The Girl from the Other Side, Sue Laroon, and this is by Nagabe. This is volume 9, and if you don't know, The Girl from the Other Side is one of my favorite manga series. The art of this is incredible. This basically touches on this world where there's an inside and there's an outside. And basically the people of the inside don't go outside because if they are touched by the creatures that live there, it's like a plague. They get infected and they start turning into monsters and then progressively into trees, which is not a fate that we want. Am I right? But this is very beautiful. This is very nostalgic. I do believe that this is what is called a dark fairy tale, and I love fairy tales, and I do love some dark, morbid sort of topics, so this is perfect for me. I do believe this series is not over yet, but I don't know when the next will come out, and I really wanted to do an in-depth video as well about this series since it's one of my favorites. Then I've got a volume which I am super excited for, and I wouldn't have said this last year, but I finished the year with this being one of my not favorite series, but really almost there, and that is The Promised Neverland. This is volume 17, and this is by Kayushirai and Posuka de Misu. That's how it is. I should know this already. I have 17 volumes of this. But first of all, this cover is not very beautiful. I know, and you don't know half of the people that are in here, and it could be considered spoilers as well, so we're just gonna do this. But The Promised Neverland volume 17, I am extremely excited to know how this ends. I have heard rumors that it ends on a 20th volume, and if that is true, well, there's only 3 left, so we want to know. We want to know the ending, and I hope that no one dies, but it could. And this is basically a story about these orphans, and they live in an orphanage. They live all happy and together, but one day they find out that they're being bred to be eaten by demons, and that their society is divided between humans and demons, and that they are just basically part of a peace treaty in which they are food for demons. So they decide, fuck that, I'm out, and they just run away from the orphanage, because who wouldn't? I mean, would you prefer to be eaten? I wouldn't. And it's just a chess game between the demons and the people that run the orphanage, and cruel humans, because of course they have to be there, and the kids, and it's just phenomenal, fantastic, and now it has developed into a bunch of plot twists, a bunch of cliffhangers, and a bunch of characters that I really want to know how they end. Then I have Blood on the Tracks, volume 3 by Shuzo Oshimi, and if you've been here last year, you know that Shuzo Oshimi is one of my favorite mangakas ever, and I have almost all of his works now, I think. And Blood on the Tracks, from what I've read, which I haven't read all of his works, but I really want to because I want to do an in-depth dive on this author, but he always writes about and draws about fucked up experiences growing up from your childhood to your teenage years and then to progressively becoming adults. So basically all of his works are coming of age works, but completely fucked up, and they have a lot of trigger warnings and they are very, very strange. I love them because you know, right? If you've been here, you know. So Blood on the Tracks is basically about the relationship between this boy, Seishi. I never remember his fucking name. Never, but Seishi. We're going to get there. And it's about his relationship with his mother. And she's a little bit over-controlling. She's over-caring of him. And he loves her deeply. But there's a situation when they go into a family trip, hiking, that happens that changes the way that he sees her, but at the same time doesn't change the way that he loves her because she's his mom. And this progressively turns into a very psychological, manipulative relationship, very disturbed relationship between a boy and his mom. And I have to tell you, the last one, the second one, I felt physically ill while reading one particular situation. It does have a lot of trigger warnings, so if you want to know some of them, I can tell you, but I would advise you to actually go and search for them before reading this, because this is a bit harsh. At least that's my belief. But the way that he draws, the way that the shadows represent the changes in facial features and everything is just, it's a masterpiece. And I really truly believe that if you can get through the trigger warnings, you will find a really fucked up but very amazing story. Then continuing on Shuzo Oshimi, I am actually trying to do a collection of his mangas that is a little bit older, and I don't even know this printer. It's called Danpa. I have no idea where this has come from. This is not a normal manga format either, and I do believe this is a bit older, but I had volumes 1, 2, and 3 of this, and now I have 4, 5, and 6. And this is called Inside Mari, and this is again a coming of age story, but it's a story about this guy, and one day he wakes up and he's in the body of Mari, a person that he knows, a girl. But he doesn't know where his body is, if she is there, or if she has disappeared because he's in her body. And so it's like him struggling to figure this out, like how to get back into his real body and how to live in her body, and where is she, who is he, and what is going on. And I don't know, I like this Freaky Friday shit, but I am not sure if this is going to be magical or what is going on here. I've never read this. It's very strange. The art is not as awesomely as it is in Blood on the Tracks, for instance, but I do believe this is one of his earliest works, so that's plausible. People get better, which awesome. But I don't know, I'm intrigued. I really want to read this. Next one that I got, it's not really a manga, it's a graphic novel, but it's very, very big, and it's really known because apparently it won an Eisner Award and a Harvey Award and an Ignatz Award, which are very big awards in the graphic novel situation thing. And that is called Black Hole. This is by Charles Burns, and this, for what I gather, is sort of a parallel reality in which people have an STD that if you catch it, there's nothing you can do about it, and so you have to live with marks of it on your face, and it leaves different marks in different people. And apparently it's about high school, it's about social alienation. It might have to do with mental disorders and other disorders. I am not sure, but it's supposed to be creepy, dark, but at the same time a social commentary, rather. And so it obviously interests me, and this cover is creepy as shit. I mean, these teeth. I know that my teeth aren't great, but look at this. I mean, damn. I would be scared. And the back is even scarier. I don't know, it's so strange, but the art is really nice, even though it's really, really dark, like really. So I don't know, I'm intrigued. I've heard about this, but I've never read it. So I'm intrigued about it. If you know anything about this graphic novel, tell me in the comments down below. No spoilers, please, because I really like to know for myself what it is, but I would like to know your opinion on it. Then it starts. The beautiful editions, and the first one that I have is Fullmetal Alchemist, and this is the Fullmetal edition, volume 11. Look at this. I have no words. This is a hardcover, and I almost broke my fingers, but it's beautiful. I'm not doing this collection. My boyfriend is doing it for me. Thank you, because I wouldn't be able to, but Fullmetal Alchemist is one of my favorite stories in general, ever. I have a lot of favorite stories, which that could be a story for another video, but this one is one of them. I have not read the entirety of the manga. I've read some of the mangas, but I have watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Fullmetal Alchemist, and I would tell you that this is amazing, and if you have love for stories with an awesome plot and meaningful characters, you would really like this. So Fullmetal Alchemist is the story of these two brothers, which you probably already know. They're Edward and Alphonse, and basically they are learning alchemy because their dad was a famous alchemist. And one day their mother dies because well, they're very, very young, so they can deal with that. And they decide to bring her back using alchemy because they're children and they don't know any better. But that is a taboo in alchemy. And when they try, one brother loses an arm and a leg, and the other loses himself completely and has his soul attached to a piece of armor. And so the brother that has the remaining of the body is called the Full Metal Alchemist. He joins the army and he tries to search for the Philosopher's Stone in order to give his brother his body back. So it unpacks a lot. It has a lot of trigger warnings. It has a lot of discussions about religion, about faith, about living, family, friends, war, politics, and there's nothing that is as perfect as Full Metal Alchemist. It's such a great story. Read it. Also, these fucking editions, I mean, you don't even need to see my face. Just look at the editions. Just look at, I am appalled. Another beautiful edition that I got is Cardcaptor Sakura Volume 6, the Collector's Edition. This is by Clamp, which, if you don't know, is a group of female mangakas, and this is one of their most known series. They have others, but it's personally my favorite one of theirs, and Cardcaptor Sakura was my childhood. Simply put, I love this. This is about a little girl. One day she finds a book in her dad's study. She opens it and she releases what is called the Clo cards, which are very powerful cards that control elements and other stuff that were created by this magician called Clo. And she also releases the Beast of the Seal, which is Kerberos, and he is like a tiny plushie, and he tells her, well, you fucked everything up, because now you have to capture these cards before they release themselves and wreak havoc in the entirety of Japan. And she goes, oh my lord, no. But it's really cool. It also has a lot of interesting family dynamics and friendship dynamics. It's about this little girl that never loses her courage, never loses the person that she is, and she is just trying to do what's best for everything, and she's just so great. I would really love to be able to grow up being as amazing as Sakura is, but sadly, bitterness of life got to me and I couldn't. But look, these editions are really great. I'm also doing this collection and I'm just so happy that I got this one. Now, the last manga that I'm going to show you was a surprise for me. First of all, I had no idea that this was coming out, which, since I am a manga reader and reviewer, is really bad that I didn't know this, but whatever. Second of all, besides being a surprise, it's bigger than my face, so I am going to put it up, and then I'm going to scream because I will break my wrist. And third, it is so fucking beautiful that I could cry. So I present to you, oh my god, I can't even. I present to you the Hellsing Deluxe Edition, and you can't see because of this fucking light, but there's this cross in here. And this is an imitation of leather. And fucking look at this. This looks like I'm converting to Satanism. And it's awesome and we love it. So for those of you that don't know, Hellsing was printed, I believe, in 1997. And sort of the main character of Hellsing actually came of this sort of erotica work that the author was doing. And he created a vampire character, and he was like, okay, fly. And people loved the character, and he was like, okay, we're gonna do Hellsing. And that's going to be my character. But besides that, Hellsing actually has a more deep and complex story, and I am losing. Okay. You don't need to look at my face. You don't need to look at it. But okay. So, Hellsing actually has a more deeper and complex story. This is actually a horror paranormal manga series, and they're releasing the deluxe edition. There are 10 volumes of this series, which I actually own, but only in Spanish, because they stopped printing the English series a while ago. Like, really a while. And I really like the Spanish version, but the covers are not that great, and I have to read insults in Spanish, which always makes me laugh, because the way that Spanish people insult each other is just awesome. And I really want to laugh, like really. Even when I read Portuguese and I see Portuguese insults, I am Portuguese. I really want to laugh because I am so used now to all of the English insults, which is not great, but I am, that the other ones just make me laugh. And this is a very serious book, so you're not supposed to laugh. But basically, the content of Helsing is about England and German and the Nazi war, a religious war, and a paranormal war. So what's happening is that the Nazis are kind of using the church and vampires to conquer England. And England has the Helsing organization, which is the military and the last resource of the English people, which has a secret. They have the original vampire called Alucard, which is Dracula in reverse, and that is the way that it's meant to be. It is supposed to be Dracula in reverse to actually give you the point that he is the original main vampire. And so he was captured by that organization. They know everything that they need to know about the paranormal, and he serves them because it's in his contract. And his master is actually a woman, Integra Helsing, which for the time that this was done, 1997, I mean, there were already kick-ass female characters in manga, but Integra Helsing is on a different fucking level. And this also accompanies the story of Ceres Victoria. She's a policewoman, and one day she has this run-in with the paranormal, and she basically meets Alucard because she's being held hostage by other vampires, and he actually tells her, "Do you want to live?" And she says yes. So he turns her into a vampire as well. And so it's kind of like her discovery of what vampirism is and what's the Holy War about and what's the Nazi war between Germany and England about, and how everything is a bigger plot to actually destroy England. And this is great. It's amazing. First of all, Alucard was my first dark crush because that dude is creepy as fuck. He's dark as fuck. And to be honest, he should not be anyone's crush. But of course, I mean, creepy dude. He's a vampire that uses guns. He has a hat. Okay, let me show you. It's amazing. I mean, excuse me. And he has sunglasses that he wears in the night. Like, fuck you. And he's pretty much indestructible, and I'm just going to be gushing about him, so I will stop. The art style of this is pretty raw, pretty violent, pretty awesome. I don't want to... Okay, so this is Integra. There. And it's amazing. And this is an edition where everything is bigger, so you can actually see everything. And it's amazing. I love this. Okay, we got a good one. Look at that. Wouldn't you love that? I love that. He's just so fucking hot. I mean, so sexy. We love men's with capes. We love. Big jackets, creepy. We really love. So yeah, to summarize, because my hand is really hurting, this is a dark story about vampires, about war, about Nazis, about kicking their ass, and about Integra Helsing, which is badass female woman. Female woman? What? Badass female main character. And we love it. We really do. There's a lot of criticism of church in here, but also a lot of praises towards it because there's this badass priest that fights as well, and I really like him as well. There's opposite sides. It's just so great. If you've never read Helsing and you are not afraid of trigger warnings for blood and dismemberments, you really should. If you like vampires, please, because these are the original kick-ass gross vampires. Except for the dude with the coat. He's also kick-ass and gross, but he's beautiful as well. I said what I said, and I have no shame. So that's going to be all for this book haul, which is already too much, but I really appreciate all of these, and I am so happy that I got them and that I can read them. So if you know any of these, if you are curious about any of these, or if you've read them, if you've not, just tell me something in the comments down below. As I said, this is the first video of 2021, so I really hope that this year is good for us, it's good for reading, it's good for living, it's good for families and friends and for us. And I hope that all of you are okay, that you have reached this new year safely. And yeah, that's going to be all for today, and happy readings to you all. Bye!